The only easy thing on there we had. All right, back to more difficult. Discuss, take action on agreement and expenses between the city of Glen Rose and Somervell County pertaining to parks and recreation facilities. Trey left at the wrong time, Martin. The city and Trey have been going back and forth. I know Richard wanted some changes. I think Wade wanted some changes.
Yeah.
And I think Trey wanted some changes.
Trey's in the hall.
All right. Richard, I'm not getting in your business. I think you wanted,
On number 3, page 2, the city shall provide liability insurance for Heritage Park and the soccer fields and shall secure water sources. I would rather it say the city shall provide liability and property insurance for both parks. And then I would also, since they're getting both parks, I would like to get the park that's back behind City Hall for the courthouse parking. That's a park that's never used. I never seen anybody back there. And
Chauncey Fenner Park.
yes, I would like to see that park given to the county for courthouse use.
And somebody, maybe it was Trey, somebody brought up the expenses and what should be paid and how it should be paid as far as the surveys and the title company. And how you doing? You hot?
No, I just wasn't gonna roll it back.
Oh,
That was my concern, but if, you know what, Richard, you can work something out, then maybe that's not such a big deal. But
as we can see, the surveys would probably be expensive. You always have to decide how you want to do
with
it.
locking the back part, which is the south part of the courthouse, if for security reasons this coming year, if we're gonna lock that door and everybody's gonna come through the main entrance, it gives people, it gives us extra parking up closer to this exit entrance.
Yeah, and I mean, that was kind of my concern with looking at this thing is, as of right now, we were just giving the city stuff and there was nothing coming back on behalf of the county. So other than the maintenance, which isn't gonna balance out, I know it's parkland, but it's not even gonna come close to balancing out what that property is worth. So I had some concerns there of there was no benefit coming back to the county for giving them the parks. Now, if we get the Chauncey Phillips Park, we're probably good there. But yeah, there has to be some sort of value exchange here. I know it's, it's still going for the benefit of the public, but if we get Chauncey Phillips, that might work, but then I think you guys do need to figure out who's gonna pay for the survey and all that sort of stuff.
That'll be strictly up to y'all how you vote and want to go, if you want to split it, if you want them to pay for both surveys. All we can do is present and see what comes back. Yes, Alan?
We're able to discuss, or you need a motion first?
Well, I probably should have a motion, but I don't think they know exactly what they're gonna make a motion on just yet.
My question is, where does the water come from to go to the soccer park? Is that not our well and our electricity at the sheriff's office?
It used to be, and I think it's cut
still is.
off right now, but I don't think it's being used, is it? We'd
no,
have to
the sprinkler
disconnect that.
system's not in good shape.
That just needs to be something discussed, I believe, because it does come from our
Well,
well and our electricity to send it there if
they
something
probably
does
ought to tie
transfer.
that into their city water if they take it over, because they've already got water meters all down there.
And I don't figure that'll be an issue, but
Hey,
they
you
need to
never
know where
know.
that water comes from.
And Scott, I hate to put you on the spot again, on your building. McFall was good with leaving his, Mike Jones is good with leaving his. Did you ever get a chance to talk to Judy to see how y'all feel about y'all's building, if the county moves forward with this in the city?
No, we really haven't discussed it.
Okay. And I think you got a few more months to discuss it, I think. I don't think this is gonna come to a head anytime soon. So if we move forward, and Richard, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, we just have to get with Trey, update what you're talking about, your insurances, Chauncey Fenner Park, any expenses, how we wanna try to do that. and then send it back over there to them for review again.
Yeah, I don't think it's ready to sign at all. I think
No.
there's some issues we gotta work out and send them another
Yeah,
I would,
rewritten.
I'd like to change.
Utilities too, right? Water.
Yes, they're responsible, they would be for all the water sources, the electric, the buildings, they're supposed to maintain, upkeep them, historic buildings. Trey and them been back and forth with this several times.
Well, kind of back and forth. The problem was, I know that Troy expressed displeasure because I had gotten the contract back to him, but none of the terms had been negotiated with the city to get a contract back to him.
And we never had it before the court to decide
Yeah.
what they really wanted.
I'd like to, it's not as big a deal, obviously, as the closing costs or the other park or anything, but the, county, can hold special events at Heritage Park in the soccer field with a 120-day notice. I'd like to change that to 90. It's not a big deal, but it's just something I'd like to see added to that as well.
And honestly, with
That's on the first paragraph, second page.
with what Alan is saying, it would be very simple to add something in there that the city will provide the water and electricity to the park and just make that part of the contract so it's not an issue later.
You're good with that, and on the electricity, those waters,
On the water, yeah.
city.
We can cut that well off for only the sheriff's department's use.
Don't we still use that to irrigate your land down there, Alan?
Yes. Yes,
We're
it
working on a
irrigates
company
the,
to come get it back in order.
yeah.
City. Trey, you're not gonna be able to read my writing.
And basically, we're trying to just keep it for the foundation purposes, not to be manicured.
Well, if somebody makes a motion to move forward with this, make sure we got it in here. You wanna go from 120 to 90 days for the county to use the parks. You wanna include property insurance. You want the city to do the water and electric. Nobody has said, oh, you want Chauncey Fenner Park. I'll misspell that, I guarantee you. And then what do you want in there about expenses on surveys and closing?
That'll depend on where we go with the little park.
If we get the Chauncey Fenner Park, then you're willing to do some kind of split.
Yeah, we'll split it.
If you don't wanna do that, then you're not willing to split it. Or you might not even be willing to move forward with it if you don't get Chauncey Fenner Park.
Yeah, I mean, I say either they give up the park or, you know, there's no deal.
Don't move forward.
Yeah.
All right, so half if you get Chauncey Fenner Park. Question mark, half split expenses.
Community center.
Like Wade told them, you can't take a whole bite out the whole time, right? All right, sorry, Michelle. If somebody makes this motion, let's see if we got it all in here. If the county moves forward with the city on Heritage Park and soccer fields, the county wants Chauncey Fenner Park, city provide electrical and water, provide property insurance along with liability insurance. And it's already in here, they're gonna maintain and upkeep all the historic buildings. And if that falls into place, then we split expenses, is that correct?
120 days down to 9.
120 days, and I did write that on here. Trey, you're probably gonna ask me what my scribbling means.
It's all right, as long as you can tell me.
Michelle, how are you looking?
I've got section 3, ad liability and property insurance. County be given Chauncey Park, second page, first paragraph, which I think you said, change 120 days notice to 90 days. City to provide water and electric, county and city to split survey costs.
Survey and closing.
Okay, maybe we just have to put water and electric in both parks, or to all parks.
To all parks, okay. City provide electric and water to all parks. Well, does somebody want to make that motion to move forward like as noted?
I'll make that motion to move forward here.
I have a motion by Richard, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Jeff. Sorry, Trey. you'll have to ask me about all my scribbling.
It's all right.
Any further questions or comments or argues or discuss? Yes, Al?
So, what I'm reading, you're trying to get some in-kind swaps
Yes,
from two different entities.
yes.
This park out here, what kind of parking are we gonna get? 6 spots out of it?
There's more like, probably 15 cars in there. It's a little bigger than you think.
So
I
what
got
kind of
that big, the only
what
thing
kind of
that, the only
expense?
thing that the city was worried about from the ones that I did visit with is holding on to that big tree out there, and I don't think you, I mean, I think we.
I guess what I'm getting at, what kind of expense is it gonna take us to put up 6 to 12 spots there? And what are we getting, what kind of in-kind swap is that gonna be? I mean, to me, it's not big enough to be an in-kind equality.
It's more spots for parking around the courthouse. It's just like this lot over here. I mean, it's probably not as big, but you can fit some cars in there. And it's gonna be easier to walk. We don't have the square on this side where people park all the way around it, you know? So it does give them a little bit more parking area, and it's easier to get to it'd be easier to get to the main entrance.
I guess what I'm getting at is, in some to equal, figure out what it's gonna cost to make that a parking lot.
Measure it off and see what it actually comes out to be,
Before
like
we
you
just-
and West did on the other one.
I mean, they may cover closing costs and everything else if you figure out it's gonna cost more for us to make that spot. I mean,
Yeah, we've taken-
I mean, the good thing that I'm hearing is y'all are working together, that's good, but let's make it equal.
We hope we are. All right, I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any other questions or comments or issues?
So I got a question.
All right,
We're not moving forward with it, we're just
No.
rewriting it right now.
we'll just rewrite it again, send it back over there and let them,
For their consideration.
they can
discussion.
take it back to their council again and they can discuss it.
So it'll come back to court.
It'll
before
come
we-
back, oh yeah, before we
move
do
forward.
anything, yeah.
Yes.
It'll come back to court. Once Trey and them get it wound up and then their
So
council
we're
votes
just
on it.
vote right now for some of the changes. that we're
Yeah,
looking
the
at.
changes and represent again, because we've never actually got to sit down as a court and discuss it, and it needs to be in open court. All right, any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
I just wonder, have you guys had a problem with this other parking lot filling up all around the square? And I'm just trying to see what the need is, because I very rarely see that parking lot over there filled up by Whiskey Woods unless it's at night when Whiskey Woods is.
What kills us is on county and district court days and jury days, we just don't have enough parking. They fill up everywhere around us. Virginia and Michelle can probably attest to that. I know district court fills up a lot more than we do, and CPS courts fills up. Because every kid, father, grandparent that gets a lawyer, I'm not being disrespectful, and that's when it's full. Like you come around maybe like on the first and second Wednesday of the month, you'll see that they're lined up. And usually if you leave, you don't get your parking spot and you come back.
Well, I agree with what the sheriff said. I mean, that's a huge expense for just a handful of parking spots, so. And there's not a lot of green space downtown. And, I mean, we have pretty much what, the courthouse, other than that, so there's not a lot of green space. And I mean, I guess it's all relative, but, I see people back there taking pictures all the time. I mean, they don't have, there's not a lot of reunions or, picnics or whatever going on, but I see tourists coming in and taking
But
photos.
from what I understand, one of the reasons that I wanted that park is the city is, they're moving forward on negotiations to buy the lot back behind it. So it wouldn't be a small parking lot. It would be adjacent to the parking lot that they want to make.
Which lot are you talking about?
The one over here where Ma Gibbs had her house.
So they're looking at buying 206,
They're in talks right now.
right,
But
but
I would like to get that park there across the street.
but in answer to a question back here where it was located, my question is, they're looking at the historic house next door at 206 Vine?
They're I have visited with a couple of people, and they're gonna discuss it.
Okay, I'm just reiterating, they are looking at the historic house next door and behind City Hall.
That's what I was told, yes.
Okay.
Perhaps. All right, now that we've opened up so many can of worms today for everybody, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion or questions before we move forward with trying to present this back to City Council with all the revisions? All in favor said motion. That's 5 for, 0 against. Now